So I asked my Instagram followers what they would like to learn from me. Um, if you'd like a question answered, either in this format or straight into your DMs, do follow me on Instagram. It's at Bill Masuku Art, BILLMASUKUART. So some of the responses went as follows this week. Um, how to believe in myself. No, seriously, I need this. Self-efficacy is a big topic. Shading, technical. My sense of humor, I cannot teach you that. Um, would you please mentor me in comic creation? Okay, I can do that. I can do that. Not specifically, but yeah. Storytelling, very much. Fantasy, sci-fi, non-fic, I'm there. Business, this one's catching my eye. Strength. These arms were made to draw and nothing else. Methods of discipline for return. Yes. Absolutely been there. Going from concept to script to storyboarding. Okay, so like the whole production pipeline. Got you. How to market yourself as an artist. Again, I think this is more of a business one. How do I sell my art? Yep. Cool. Business. This is what's really catching my eye right now. A lot of people go into the art field as artists, which I mean, most people do, but it's not enough if you really want to make a living out of it. For those who went to art school, you have some form of connections, whether it be your peers or your lecturers, or scouts from different departments, from actual production studios. For those of you who are, trying to make it out on your own, whether you're self-taught or you did go to art school and they didn't really teach on how to uh, have a career in art outside of maybe being hired by a studio. I have some tips. This isn't a be all end all. This won't give you all the answers in the world, but this is what I've learned. This is what I've experienced. And lots of conversations around this, I hope, are beneficial. Speaking as a comic book artist, let's open Clip Studio. Um, as a comic book artist, I would say there's two very big branches of where you can go. And that going down one branch doesn't stop you from going down another branch. These are simply access points through which, if you get better at one, on that branch, you can probably do most, if not all of the things on the extending branch. So on the left side, we have um, art, and on the right side, we have writing. Because as a comic book artist, you are a visual storyteller. You're both. Um, and speaking specifically to the visuals, you are a generalist artist. You can pretty much draw anything, um, but that in itself is difficult to market. Telling people, "Hey, I can draw whatever," that's not always the best route to go down. The term that most people would use is an illustrator. It makes it sound more professional, and it narrows down what you typically would find in the art field. Thinking for writers, I guess the equivalent would be thinking of script writing, right? You can't just say I'm a writer because that could lead you down to novelist, which is a branch you can go to, but branching specifically out from comic book artist, it's you're a writer and then a script writer, and once you get really good at scripts, you can read other people's and help them, in which case you're an editor or a developmental editor. Yeah. Developmental. I'm out of space. Right. Um, the other branch of being a writer is being a story consultant. And this usually comes from lived experience, but being able to capture that lived experience in a narrative way. It's very specific. Um, Back to art. Uh, as a general artist, you can do graphic design, especially if you didn't specifically study to be a graphic designer. We typically use the same programs: Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, etc. All the tools are similar, but the applications are different. Um, and if you're going down that graphic design branch, you think of being a layout artist. Think of the way that magazines are laid out. Um, and then obviously logo design. Um, More so in the literally Adobe Illustrator vein, but you can do it. Um, it's a hop, skip, jump, but if you put in the effort, the leap is worth it. And if you continue to go that graphic design route, you're definitely going to be a really good comic book letterer. A lot of people will use Illustrator and InDesign for lettering specifically. While you can use any program, those are really good for making sure that your words pop. From illustration, um, if you're good at drawing people and things, you can specify and go into character designing, or you can go into environment design, making sure that the backgrounds, the areas all feel alive or they speak to the genre in which you're working in. Um, More so on things than places, it's prop design. You're designing bags, clothing, caps, weapons, guns, and the such. This is typically for pre production or game dev. Game design? Game dev? One of those two. Um, but as we move further and further away from comic book artists, you can hear that you are touching other spheres of fields. Whether you're going into being a novelist or going specifically into working on a magazine, um, these these branches allow you to pivot into different professions. Um, Specifically for comic book artists, there's a specialization to it. You can be you can be a penciler, which typically means you do the rough layout of the entire book. You work out the shots and the angles. You can be an inker, which means you're fine tuning the art that's already there, making it pop, making sure that it prints well. Or a colorist. I think that one is self-explanatory. But with a flatter, because there's so many elements to color, um, typically colorists subcontract someone to do the easy but time intensive work of making sure that each element on the page is flat. It has a flat layer to easily color over. And then as a specialist, you can just do cover art. I know a lot of people have a really good style that lets them make these dramatic or epic covers that you wouldn't see elsewhere. It's very much a comic book, manga, game um, design. Um, and it's its own branch, but I would pivot out of comic book cover artist is promotional art. The art that never makes it into the final product, but definitely gets people sensationalized um, for the content that we're making. Hmm. I think there's more room. There's always more room. The further you go down these branches, the more jobs and opportunities that you can latch onto. I hope this diagram helps you start to figure out where you want to go and the kinds of paths that you need to take. Um, Definitely, I've done copywriting, whether it's the text on the back of the book, or specifically for social media, or making sure that there is a body of text that people can read through, whether in a world building document or on a blog somewhere. But that's not the be all end all. Again, these branches are nigh endless. Um, hmm. 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 There's more. There's definitely more. Um, Give me a second. Give me 2 seconds. 10 seconds. Mm, right. I guess maybe we might need to extend the canvas. I'm kind of out of space. Yeah. Um, there we go. For, as a generalist artist, as someone who can draw anything, you can be a storyboard artist. And I think this is where a lot of people, especially in pre-production, want to be. Um, Literally pivoting from comic books into being a storyboard artist is great. You're half illustration, you're half storytelling. Um, and some people will take it a step further. If you look at storyboards, most people nowadays will um, try to build animatics. One, it's great for portfolio, and two, it's really great for pitching to directors, um, or bringing your storyboards to life without fully animating. Um, and then some people just go straight into animation once they have their roughs laid out. And pivoting from comic to generalist to storyboard artist, but from illustration into children's books. It's a not a it's not like any other work that I've done. There's a specific style to it that you have to learn, much like the illustrations that you see in school textbooks. Um, there is a way that you need to visually convey information that's informative. Um, and I have been asked before to do cross sections of someone discovering something or another um, without much more information than that and just research. And that's about it for now. There's obviously more branches, there's more to learn, there's more to tell. But I hope this gives you an idea of the scope and potential of earning and learning.